Hey everyone, it's Joe Bradley here in Houston, Texas, doing another drive-by video. As you can see, it's raining outside and caught in traffic, so I'm going to be very careful, not like I normally wouldn't be careful when filming a video in my car, but I wanted to talk about this morning while I'm driving down the road. I don't know exactly how long this video is going to be, but I do know what I want to say to you, and it's something that has been kind of resting on my mind this morning and over the last couple of days. But I want to talk about the power of picking up the pen, right? The power of picking up the pen. Over the last few weeks, we've been watching Congress, and we've been listening to the news, and wondering when the people would stop fighting in the House and everything, and their fighting, their lack of agreement, their inability to unite as one, their unwillingness to come together because of different ideologies has suspended the lives of millions of people, right? I mean, there's people who can't pay their mortgage, there's people who can't pay their car notes, and there's people who can't pay their bills right now simply because of things that have happened in the Congress with the shutdown. I know it's back up and everything now, but still there are people who were affected by that. But I just want to let you know that didn't have to be, right? There's, I don't know how many, maybe 400 or 500 some people in that particular group, but it didn't have to affect so many people. But I'm going to tell you one reason why I believe that it did, and how we can prevent something like this from happening, and how you can make the change in your life today. So that's what I want to cover. It didn't have to be that way, right? But through the years, we've been taught to depend on someone else's one-dimensional, subjective assessment of ourselves, right? I'm talking about when someone decides to place a value or a worth on our lives and say, hey, this is how much you're worth each hour. This is how much I'm going to give you for every hour that you give me. I'm going to give you $14.74, or I'm going to give you $19.93. I'm going to give you $25.47 an hour. And then sometimes, there are some people who get paid a whole lot more, $70 an hour and $125 an hour, which sounds good. But the problem with that is they've agreed, or there's an agreement that I'm going to give something that I can never have back for something that has very, very little value. So I have given up an hour of my time for $10 from your pocket. I've given up an hour of my time for $25 from your pocket. I've given up an hour of my time for $50. And when I stop, the problem with that is when I stop giving those hours, then you stop giving me the money. See, it's not a problem. It's not a problem when it's not a problem when you give the money away, because you can always get more money. But when I give my time away, I could never get that back. But the only reason why that is, the only reason why millions of people have been subjected and have been sent into this life where they were waiting on the decision, waiting on what's going to happen next in Congress, is because they refuse to pick up the pen in their lives. But what do you mean by pick up the pen, Joe? I don't understand what you're talking about. Well, we have the ability in our creativeness, in our minds, we have the ability to literally pick up the pen and write out the story of how our life is going to be. Now, I know there are many people who don't agree with that, and therefore, why pick up the pen if you don't believe it? If you don't believe that you have the ability to write out your story, to write out your life, to determine what's going to come about in your lifetime, right? To manifest into reality what you dream about and what you desire and what you want. If you don't believe that, then the chances are you're living a life where someone else has decided what role you play. Because if I don't pick up the pen and start writing down what it is that I'm looking for, if I don't pick up the pen and start making specific demands about what my life is going to be, then what I've done is by default I've allowed someone else to write out a role for me in their dream. Because the reality of it is if we're not writing our script, then we're just being cast in someone else's. If we're not working on our dreams, then we're managing someone else's. And the problem is, when we get caught managing someone else's dream, I can't fault that person. If I've laid down the pen, if I refuse to pick up the pen and write my story, and I'm okay with being cast as a character in someone else's story, then I really can't fault the person who's writing the story for writing me out of a script, or for writing for reducing the amount of time I have in that story. Because I'm not the main character in that story, right? I'm not the main character in someone else's story. And if I want to, if I'm writing my story down, if I have the pen and I'm every single word that I want to mean something in my life, I'm writing it down, then I can write it however I want to write it. And I might not write my story the way you write your story. And so the problem comes when you have 500 some odd people in Congress who decided to write a story a certain way, and you have millions of people who refuse to pick up the pen. Well, and now people are grumbling and complaining because the story didn't turn out the way that they had hoped. Well, I'm going to let you know right now, when they made the decision to not make a decision, there are a group of people who were not affected by their inability or unwillingness to make a decision. There's a group of people who were not affected, and it's because they refused to let someone else write their story. They refused to let someone else create their world. And I want to let you know that if you, or if I, or anyone decides to allow someone else to create their world, they're never going to create it big enough for you. They're never going to create it the right size. It's never going to be as comfortable as we would like. And the trade-off is always going to be more beneficial to the writer than it is to the character who was cast. So, if you're listening to this story, if you're watching this video rather, as I drive through this torrential downpour in Houston, Texas, and you know that there's something better for your life. You know there's something more for you. You know that you've been living a life managing someone else's dream, and you're tired of someone else determining what time you're supposed to get up. You're tired of someone else determining when you're supposed to go here and when you're supposed to go there, and you're tired of someone else reducing your worth based on their assessment of you. Then I invite you to pick up the pen. I invite you to pick up the pen and begin writing down your story. Begin writing down what it is that you want. And the reality of it is, you may be thinking that, you know what, there's so many things that I want, there's so many things that I wanted, but I've come to an age now where it's just too late for me. It's too late. If you're breathing and if you're watching this video, I want to let you know that it's not too late. It's not too late. Pick up the pen, because there's power that no one else can take away from you when you decide to pick up the pen. When you decide that I'm going to become exactly who I was designed to be. It's not too late. Now the reality of it is, though, is that there will come a time when it's too late to pick up the pen. there will come a time when it's too late to begin to write your story. And the reason why this is so pressing on my mind is because all of us are uniquely needed in life. And there's something that you showed up here with. Yeah, you watching this video. There's something that you showed up here with. But until you pick up the pen and begin to write the things that are pressing in your mind, that are swarming around in your imagination, until you decide to pick up the pen, all of us are missing out on what it is that you have to offer. Now, I don't know if you're watching this from my YouTube video. I don't know if you're watching this from my blog. I don't know if you're watching this from a capture page. I don't know if you're watching this from a sale. I don't know what you're watching this from. But here's what I want you to do. If this video has resonated with you, and if you're ready to pick up the pen, but you just don't know where to begin, then there's a phone number below, or there's a link below, or there is a form below, or there's something below. There's some kind of action that you need to take, and you know what that action is below. If it's a phone number, call me. If it's a Facebook link, then click the Facebook link, like the page, connect with me, and let's talk. If there's a form to fill out your information, and let's communicate, because I don't want to miss out on what you have to offer. And neither does anyone else. And we can't afford to miss out, because the time is coming when it's going to be too late. That time comes when you lay down, you close your eyes, and you're no longer on this side. Then all of us will mourn the passing of a dream that never became reality. I hope this has helped you, and I look forward to meeting whoever it is that's ready to pick up the pen. God bless you. I'm Joe Bradley, Houston, Texas.